Well, you know, it happens. In Dragon Ball, you never die long.
I'm not good. That's true. Like
Christopher Sabat, the voice of Purist. I guess not.
My favorite character.
Bubbles.
Hi. Please.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. We've already talked. We've been talking to sound people to make sure we have sweet effects on our voices at all times.
In case we have to do a line.
Maybe not at all times. It's really at his discretion, which would probably be not at all. Because he kind of grinned and went like,
Yeah, we'll do that.
Turn your mic off.
So he just took our mic away. So he's just like,
Oh, that's good.
oh, that's gonna be perfect for when I do the comment I'm out. Yeah!
I have to move to another mic or something.
All right. All right. Are you starting, Justin?
No. Well, what do we want to start with?
Well, whenever you guys are done, I'm going to take the rest of the panel.
You're going to take over the panel?
No, it's okay.
Well, I guess we could start by saying it's Dragon Ball Z Kai panel, so we're, I guess, going to be able to talk about some of the differences between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai, and some of the things we've done a little bit differently, and some different approaches.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do we want to start? Chris, you want to start the story?
I'm going to start by apologizing in advance. Because I have strep throat today. Woo!
Will you just take the reverb off when I'm just talking? I don't want to be the voice of God.
Sorry, at the roundabout, turn right. Roundabout. Stop playing with it. I am your father's cousin's father's 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 cousin's son's wife's removed. Is that on?
Could you shut the...
I see your shorts.
Hey! Could you
No, it's big on.
turn on the reverb? Because I don't think people can hear us. I think they think this is a mental line.
Yeah. Wait, Chris, you think something?
Gosh, you're not doing a Sean has to keep talking.
No, I was going to do your voice.
Oh. And if it were actually Dragon Ball Z, I would have to still be emoting over it. Like,
That's true.
Can we shut off the verb on this channel?
I know you're working hard.
he's like,
There we go.
woo! Okay.
There it is.
There we
Now
go.
we're rolling.
Well, it's not completely...
This is like the place got a lot smaller though. That's right.
Yeah, it was like we were in a cavern. It's awesome.
Okay, so sorry, Dragon Ball Z Kai. It's awesome.
Okay, thanks.
There are no flaws in it whatsoever, even beyond the ones you found. It's a perfect show. I'm in it.
Mostly.
It's awesome. I hope there aren't any questions.
You plays fewer characters this time.
I do play fewer characters this time.
It only made sense because when it's not very often you get a chance to do something you did like 10 years ago again, and you're older and actually more responsible and not in college. And it's been pretty awesome. And like back when I worked on Dragon Ball Z the first time, there were 11 people on the cast list. Like 6 of them were girls, 2 of them were Sunny Straight. And that was about it. Like if it wasn't Goku or like Sean had a high voice, and Sunny, the voice of Krillin, had a high voice, and Justin had a high voice, I was the only guy with a low voice. So anytime there was another low voice character, the producer was like, "You got yourself a little part."
I'm still in a cave. It's kind of cool.
All right, so I actually don't think the focus is general. DBZ Kai, right?
DBZ Kai. We can start at the beginning, which is basically as soon as Dragon Ball Z Kai started, coming on in Japan, a lot of excitement started coming around in Funimation. We got real excited about it, and one of the first things that happened was Chris coming to me and saying, "Well, so what are we going to do at this time?" And at that point is when John Bergmeyer and Chris Sabat, myself, started meeting with the marketing department at Funimation and everyone else, and really started kind of trying to set the parameters of this version of Dragon Ball Z. And what was great was we got full support from Funimation. to completely go back, start from scratch, retranslate, rewrite, stay closer to the translation, not worrying so much about, and I think Sean will probably talk about this in a second,
Yes, I will.
but not being so obsessed with trying to localize it in some kind of way or another. And so to be able to go through and even, I don't know if some of you have noticed on the DVD release, we're keeping a lot of the actual original Japanese attack names for things. And so it's a much more of a purist approach, but, and again, I think Sean's going to talk a little bit more about this, but it's just, it's so great how close we're able to keep to the original as opposed to drifting off base.
Because at the start, you know, we wanted to, it was important that Dragon Ball is treated correctly, but at the same time, it was also going to be put on TV. So there were a lot of, not debates, but rather discussions of, well, how do you handle it? There's this massive population of people who grew up on Dragon Ball Z a certain way, and I'd say half of those people wouldn't even know that it was right or wrong. You know, they wouldn't know what the story was. But it became an overwhelming decision that we absolutely had to go with what the original Japanese translation was. It was kind of a test and kind of a gamble in some ways to see if we could just put this show on the air and not have to change everything to make it popular. And I think it's worked. It's apparently doing pretty well. You guys are here.
Yeah.
And you're not mad at it.
I haven't had one like
Man, back in the early 2000s when we had first made Dragon Ball Z and I go to conventions, I'm telling you, there was an absence of love. Let me put it, to put it lightly. Like there were people who did not like us at all back then. They're like, why are you changing the music? Why is Yamcha cool? You know, everyone had a problem with everything with it, but it seems like I'm getting much more positive feedback this time around.
That's been awesome. Before I talk about Dragon Ball Z Kai, there's one of the things that I've done a lot of these conventions over the last 10 years. My first Comic-Con was in 2000. And we work in the booth a lot, and you know, I'm not a theater actor per se, so I just want to take a moment to take all of you guys in and say how much I appreciate everyone being here, and just, you know, just kind of be with you guys, kind of like the avatar saying, you know, I see you guys, you know. So I never really do that because I tend to lead with comedy, and I tend to lead with being goofy. And after 10 years of doing this, I can't tell you how radically the archetype of Goku has changed my life personally. I'm really grateful to Akira Toriyama and to all of you. And you know, Chris knows my history really well, so he knows the radical transformation that I was having for me in my life growing up, Goku, so to speak, because I did a lot of growing up as Goku. That being said, thank you very much, and I'm so happy to be here.
I think we should all on the time, all sitting around in a circle and putting our arms on each other.
Yeah, I would love to do that with all of you.
Until we bring them, and we summon the dragon.
So, but as far as, we're going to summon the dragon, you know. As far as what Justin said I was going to talk about, you know that I happen to do a lot of voice work for 4 kids. And in their defense, let me defend them just a little bit and say, a lot of the stuff they have to do has to do with what's called BS&P, which is Standards and Practices. It's a board, an advisory board, that is not controlled by you guys. So a lot of the choices they have to make are based on that. So it's not like 4 kids is going, hey, we really want to make this as, you know, milquetoast as possible. They'll send something out, BS&P will say, no, you can't say that, no, you can't do this. I don't really understand the whole workings of it, but I know that their hands are tied a lot. But having gone between 2 camps, we need to look at anime history and dubbing in America, which is starting with, fundamentally, Pokemon. Oh, speaking of which, before we move forward, I need to say one more thing. For all of you know, for all those of you who don't know, Peter Fernandez, the voice of Speed Racer, passed away last week. And yes, he did. And that was the first anime I ever saw. And so for those of you who are Speed Racer fans or anyone else, if you'd like to take a moment of silence for Peter Fernandez, I had the pleasure of meeting him once, and I'm sure some of you have. Huge influence on me. So just a moment here from Peter. And for whatever you believe, perhaps he is Makagogoing in heaven or wherever he is. So, you know, God bless Peter Fernandez. First anime I ever watched. So anyway, I wanted to make sure